Okay, guys, we are going to see if this is any better. Can you guys, if anybody is out there in chat, will you please let me know if this, if the video stream is working now? Can somebody make a comment in the section, just telling me whether or not it is the the video stream is working, and we will go from there. Sorry, guys, about the technical difficulties. Welcome to the joys of live streaming and the challenges that come right along with it. Anyway, this is how it goes. I'm getting the link shared out to the guests again so that they can come back, and hopefully we will see them in a moment. Hopefully we will have everybody back. Now, what I need to do is find out from you guys whether or not it's clear or not. Do I have any comments here? All right, guys, looks fine. All right, so we are good now. All right, thank you, guys, and I am sorry about the difficulty. Welcome to live streaming. Woohoo! So I want to pick back up right where I was, and hopefully some of you guys will hang around. And I put the link back up there. Hopefully you guys will come back on. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna go through rule number 1 here about being a Bucs fan. All right, if you call yourself a fan, root for your team more than you gripe about it. All right, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2: free agents that leave are now the enemy. Okay, guys, y'all got that one? This is not rocket science about what I'm talking about, okay? If somebody leaves the team, they're now the enemy. I don't need to hear you wax eloquently about how wonderful they are and everything. I don't need to hear it. All right, hey, how you doing?
We're back.
Sorry about the trouble there, brother.
We're back.
Am I looking better to you now?
You're good. You're good. You look good.
What happened? I have no idea what happened.
Technology happened.
Yeah, the joys. So I don't know if you had a chance to see rule number 2.
I did not.
Okay, let me bring that back up right now. Rule number 2. Well, rule number 1: if you call yourself a fan, root for your team more than you gripe about it. Rule number 2: free agents that leave are now the enemy. Okay. Rule number 3: heckle or blame the refs at least once per game. Come on, guys. You got to do that. That's just part of being a fan. Isn't it? Isn't it?
I think it is.
I think it is too.
I think it is.
We're going to pick up on the rules here again in just a minute or two, but I want to bring someone in here. I want to bring Jacob. 0-16 Charnow.
You were this close today, buddy.
You almost blew it today, Jacob.
Almost
blew it.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select
Justin Fields.
Anybody that's not named Sam Darnold, because he is. What are we doing? What are we doing as an okay? We get all right. 37-year-old Frank Gore. Let's just start at the running back position, okay? Because 37-year-old Frank Gore today got knocked out of the game with a concussion relatively early on, which allowed Ty Johnson. I don't know if you remember, he was on the Lions, I think, last year, and he was bad. He had 22 carries. He had over 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. And then Josh Adams, who was a practice squad elevated guy, 8 carries for 74 yards.
Right.
Okay. How dare Adam Gase give Frank Gore 18 carries a game up until this week when you have Ty Johnson on the bench, right? Like, okay.
So moving on. Well, hold on. Now we're going to take you to Jets Fan Academy, though, because now I want to talk to you about this. Okay,
it's completely different. It's completely different. Rick.
No. Believe me, if there's 2 teams that have ever been close, it's you guys and us. Okay, so no, Jacob. Here's the thing. You're a fan. You wear the jersey.
Of course.
Okay. But do you root for your team?
Normally, yes.
Isn't that what being a fan does?
I
get it. Right now, you're saying I hope we lose because I want the draft pick, because I want to win long term.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. But do you ever say how much you love your team anymore?
All the time. So here's my thing. I was watching today's game it was maybe the most confusing game I've ever watched. At one point I was like, I love that we're beating. I hate the Raiders. I'm like, I love that we're beating the Raiders right now. But then on the other hand, it's like, Trevor Lawrence. I want Trevor Lawrence like more than anything in the world. Like that's all I want for Christmas.
Right.
And what I was more mad about was how they're executing game plans from here on out. Right. Denzel Mims, who has the potential to become a wide receiver 1. He has the talent to do it. Like we've seen it. He got 3 targets today. He got targeted 3 times. That can't be happening, right? They were challenging him. They were giving him a 1-on-1 on the outside, and they did not go to him once. In that, they only went to him. He was coming across the middle. It was a few different things, and he almost had a touchdown today. I cannot understand for the life of me what they're doing. And yes, a lot of it is on Sam Darnold, right? 186 passing yards, and he has the lowest quarterback rating in the NFL. 186 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, both of them to Jamison Crowder, who seems to always find himself open. A pick, he had a rushing touchdown, and then he had 2 fumbles.
But Jacob, I get it. Okay, let's say this bluntly. Your team sucks.
We do.
Okay, you don't need to convince us. Okay, we get it. We get it that your team sucks.
Yes.
But what's hilarious to me is when I look at my news feed, there's as much negativity about the Buccaneers as there is about the Jets.
And I think the funniest part about it is, from what I see, I think there's more negativity towards the Buccaneers. I think there's more positivity towards the Jets than there is the Buccaneers.
Yes!
This
is my point. People forgot how to be a fan.
Because all you do if you're a Jets fan right now is you're tweeting out, Becton looks great, Mims looks great, all these guys look great, all these rookies look fantastic. And then if you're a Bucs fan, you're like, well, that second or the third string cornerback didn't look good in this game, so we should fire Bruce Arians and fire the GM and make the owner sell the team. And it's just like, it makes no sense. I can't understand it for the life of me. Like I would kill. I'm
going to add Matt Colson here,
okay?
Because Matt, one of the things that you said the other day, you were talking about Seattle being great. Yeah. What you got to say now, brother?
Nah, go Brownies, man. I'm all Baker now. Just to hell with everybody else.
Yeah,
that? And I just want to ask Jacob one thing, because I'm older than he is, probably by twice or more. But I don't remember the Jets being good since Gastineau and that crowd was over.
No, not in his lifetime.
I just
no, we were good. Well, we were good in 09 and 2010.
Played for you back in 70 something, and you were competitive when you had Gastineau and I think his name was Klecko or something like that.
Yeah,
Joe Klecko. Defense, it was awesome. But ever since then, since Vinny's been to town, and since you test drove Brett Favre, you have nothing. And
I forgot about
perpetual.
That. Yeah.
The only thing you've done right is you fired Fireman Ed. You pissed him off so bad he gave up his season tickets and moved on to a Giants stadium, which happens to be the same place you're living in. You guys are the whole thing about the 2 teams in the same stadium that don't like each other, they have to share each other's land, got to share the concessions, got to share everything, and neither one of you win. But the Giants pulled off a pretty good game today.
Well, and to me,
if you want to be a Jet fan, might as well get you a Buccaneers jersey too, because that's what we do. We suck it up, and then we play well for a year or two, and then we suck it up for another decade.
But don't you want to just enjoy the year or two?
I do, Rick.
So, yes, well, exactly. So no, I know you are
pissed off at people in this stream here that come to the Bucs report.
Right.
And I was running them off on the Facebook earlier.
Matt, do you know that I had a conversation with somebody today that said, when you're negative about the Bucs, I never say anything to you about it?
Me?
Yeah. I had a conversation with somebody today, off the show, that specifically brought up your name and said that that literally they said, well, when Matt comes on and says the same things I say, the negative things I say about the team, that I'm never critical of you. Do I ever give you a hard time?
You used to straighten my ass right out.
You better darn believe it.
When
You better
first came
believe
out
it.
with Peter, and you were tag teaming on his show before you started this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but
Peter
I
would
mean, there's a
beat me up
point
and
of
he'd
like,
stand up
come
for
on,
me.
man.
Yeah, and when I said something dumb, you would correct me.
And when I say, and I count on you guys when I say something dumb to correct me. You know what that is? That's people talking football in the cheap seats.
That's what it is, and that's why we bother to call in and try to do whatever we need to do to talk about it.
Yes.
Even if you're negative, if you come in and you got nothing good to say about anybody but the water boy, that's input that other people can use and build off of for whatever commentary they want to add in. If people would intermingle, you know what I mean? That I get a lot of stuff out of the chat that's scrolling. I don't like the Facebook anymore because I got issues with that. But some of the things that are in there, I've made a lot of connections with people I probably would have never met before. Johnny Dean, Misha Gore, Ben Cornett. They're different people with different points of view, and we don't always agree. In fact, I have more fun when I'm straightening them out on what I think, which is part of the game.
But that's part of the fun.
And that's why we do what we do. And as a Buccaneers fan, the only time the team has ever been good is when I did not live in Tampa. Yeah. Every time I moved away, we went to the playoffs. Doug Williams got good a year after I moved to Lexington, Kentucky. By the time my mom got around to bringing us back down to Tampa, he was long gone.
Right.
And we were in the suckers again. The only good thing about that was a $5.
Yeah, are you in Tampa right now?
No, Matt's in Oklahoma.
Okay, good. All right.
See, they're coming back around again. And the same thing with Gruden. I moved away when Gruden showed up, right after Dungy was in this.
So it's your fault.
The only thing I ever did good for you was get you the defensive coordinator, Monty Kiffin.
Yeah, there you go.
That guy I brought in, and I left him there for you. So, but awesome. What I'm saying is, I've followed him all over the country, and I've been like Jacob's saying right now, all over the country. The difference is people know who the Jets are. I can wear Buccaneer gear all over this city, and until this year when we drafted Tom Brady, nobody knew what the hell I was wearing, who the team was.
Yep.
In some high school in North Texas, I never heard of it. That's the only thing I could get out of it. Now I can go into the pubs, the wing shop, Buffalo Wings, whatever, and I'll actually find a guy who may not wear the gear, but he knows the damn players on the team. I mean, you wouldn't believe how famous Donovan Smith is in Oklahoma. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Club-footed. So I got on it a little bit last night, how they've underachieved in my opinion, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to back them. I can cry all I want to, but next Sunday I'm going to make sure nothing goes on around my house for the 2 hours they're on TV. It's like that every year. I get direct TV Sunday ticket so that I can put myself through this misery. And I'm hoping that we'll get another trophy so my kids will get to see it, because we have not been good since they were born. And
I think that's where we all agree. I think all Bucs fans should agree they've underachieved this year. Nobody should say they suck or we need to fire Bruce Arians or anything like that. We can all agree that this shouldn't be a 7-5 football team. I think that's where we should all be at.
Well, and what I'll say to that is, before the year started, I said 11-5. That could still happen. Mm-hmm. All right. So, I mean, do I think they're underachieving? Look, I get the thinking that they're underachieving.
Didn't see a 1-3 month. That's where I did not see anything. I didn't see a 1-3 month anywhere in the schedule.
Well, I didn't think they were going to make any competitiveness with Kansas City from the minute they put that on the list.
We're gonna go big here, guys. I'm gonna add. I've never had this many people on the screen at the same time.
Oh, here we go.
I'm bringing in Harry, and I'm also gonna bring Teresa in here. We're gonna have 6. We're gonna have 6 here. This is awesome. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So let me do this. I'm going to go through the rest of my rules here real quick, okay?
Okay.
I want to go through all these. So I started off with, if you call yourself a fan, root for your team more than you gripe about it, okay? Number 2, free agents that leave are now the enemy.
Yes.
That's self-explanatory. Heckle or blame the refs at least once per game. Teresa is the best at this. Number 4, stop thinking changing coaches is the answer.
I'd like
If
to
you
have a
lose
word with you
one
about that one.
game, if you lose a game, it doesn't mean your team sucks.
What about
What about 16 games? What about 0 and 16?
Okay, then it's fine, but you can't change coaches every 2 years.
No.
Okay, wins and losses are the actual benchmark. Your expectations are not the benchmark. Okay, now that's a big deal right there, guys. Wins and losses are the actual benchmark. Your expectations are not the benchmark. If the team goes 7-5, if the team goes 11-5, 10-6, makes the playoffs and wins the Super Bowl, but you thought they should have won more games, they didn't have a bad year.
Exactly.
We're playoff contenders right now. We're already locked into the wild card. Unless
Right.
we blow our own foot off. But today,
Right.
after the first round of games went on, we made wild card position. And it's not.
Do you-
On
coincidence. We're not
contrary,
in the
they're
hunt.
not guaranteed. They're not guaranteed.
He
a
said
playoff
unless
spot
they
yet.
blow their he said unless they blow their own foot off. He said
They're
that.
88% chance. I just seen it on TV.
Okay, so I mean, guys, let's be real here. Okay, come on. Before this year started, you remember back when they got the new uniforms?
Oh,
if we
God.
told you this is where they'd be, you'd have thrown a party.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
true,
now you
then
got
we
yourself all
drafted
riled up, all
everybody.
worked up, all lathered up, and then things didn't go well. Things didn't go as perfectly as you expected. Come on. Let me finish here. So wins and losses are the benchmark. It's okay to be happy. Okay, guys? It is okay to be happy. Let me follow that up with rule number 7. No, really. It's okay to be happy. All right? Now, you keep referring to these, okay? You guys need to know this. Okay, you're happy, you're excited. Woohoo, I think my team's going to win. Yay! And then they lose a game. Okay, you got 24 hours. Brush it off. Move on to the next one. All right? I mean, this is what's funny. They always talk about players and teams. They, well, we need to learn how to win. So do fans, apparently.
Oh dear.
Number 8. No amount of evidence will convince an idiot. Let the negative folks be miserable. That's fine.
That needs
Y'all
to be a
want to be
bumper sticker.
miserable? Be miserable. But get the heck away from me.
I want that on a T-shirt.
Oh, man. Number 9. Embrace the positive, but be realistic. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it if you're going, woohoo, we're having a great year. But, man, we better start better because we're getting killed at the beginning and we should have won more games, but we start slow. And number 10, embrace it, folks. This is supposed to be fun.
I forgot what fun feels like.
This is supposed to be fun. I'm sorry, Jacob. You should, you know what? Enjoy it, brother. And let me tell you something. You'll appreciate these years when your team does win.
I like watching. The only thing I like watching is number 77 on the left side just pancake everybody that comes in his way. That's the only thing I like watching on this team
You
right
got
now.
something to grow on there. See?
Yeah.
That's how we started with Derek Brooks. We had Alstott and Brooks and Warren Sapp, and they were wearing funny colors. And
Yes.
we changed colors, got a couple more pieces, and poof, look where we ended up.
Yeah, I mean, guys.
You can't fix a team in 1 year. It's
No.
not
Say
Or
that
no
again.
one
Matt,
player.
say that again.
You cannot fix a team in 1 year. It's not possible. I don't care what they say.
There's the comment of the day. You can't fix a team in 1 year. Everybody thinks that's going to happen.
Even if you draft the number 1 guy, he's still not any good.
It's just amazing to me. Just amazing. And I mean, I've sat and watched horrible years. Teresa, I've sat there with you in Atlanta
Yeah.
when
And
we watched
Megatron's butt.
when we watched horrible games. No, we were at Miller's Ale House watching
Yeah.
horrible teams play year after year after year, and we were all having a ball. I
Yeah.
miss those days.
We always had a good time. We would
Yes.
throw flags. I mean, we literally had the yellow flags and the red flags, and we'd be throwing them at our team as much as anybody
Yeah,
else.
when they were like you're saying there was a penalty every time. Yeah,
Yeah,
try-
every time.
yeah.
But yeah, you can't fix it in a year. No one player is going to fix this team. Hello, Tom Brady was not the savior. He's good, but he wasn't going to take everything on. You know, it's
But they've
work
got a
that way.
lot more than just Brady, and this team should win more games. We all agree that this team has not played to its potential. That's the key. This is the key. Not that they've underperformed. It's not that maybe they should have been performing better, because I would say there are reasons that for a struggle right now. First year in the new offense after 20 years in a different one. Okay, no camp, no preseason, no anything.
Right.
All right, all of that. There are reasons this team might struggle a little bit. All right, so they are underperforming, and they're not playing to their absolute potential. We all get that. I don't think anybody's denying that.
Mm-mm.
People,
I thought they were going to go 10-6.
most Bucks
I did.
fans expected, like in their expectations, they've seen this team as like 16-0. You know how many teams have won the Super Bowl at 16-0? One. You know how many won at 10-6, 11-5? I don't know, but it's a lot more than 16-0. It's okay to be 11-5. It's okay to get into the playoffs as a wild card. You're still talented enough to win. 16-0 was not realistic.
Right.
Realistically, once you're in the playoffs, nothing that happened in the regular season matters anymore. It is a whole nother animal in the playoffs. Look at that 2017 Philadelphia Eagles team. They were so average, right? They had Carson Wentz, who was playing well that year, which that's a whole nother conversation for another show. But
Don't do it.
I know.
Don't bring it up.
I know.
Don't bring it up.
I know.
My head's gonna blow up.
I know. But and then look, Nick Foles comes in. It's a whole different team in the playoffs. I'm sorry. You look at it, the double doink happens, and and the Eagles end up winning, and they go on to win the Super Bowl. But that team wasn't a team that people expected to win the Super Bowl that year. However many people right now are saying that there's no chance that the Bucs can go in and win a Super Bowl based on what they've done in the regular season. They're nuts. The Bucs have one of the strongest chances with Tom Brady and Bruce Arians leading your team in the playoffs to win that Super Bowl than maybe any other team in the playoffs right now.
Tim Witherspoon. Tim Witherspoon has a great comment here. We're talking about the playoffs. A year ago, we were talking about the draft.
Excellent point. Hey, I'd like to jump on what Jacob was talking about.
Yep.
You see, you are correct. But like all teams in the NFL, it doesn't make a difference what your record is. You're absolutely correct. When you make it to the dance, everything's going to happen. But back in 2017, I remember distinctly that team was really starting to roll come playoff time. They were just rolling and rolling and rolling. And that's what I'm expecting to happen with the Buccaneers right now. Well, they have 4 very, very winnable games. And please stop telling me that they're going to lose one of these games to the Atlanta Falcons. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, division games are division games. It's really hard to just.
That's the thing in any sport. Any team, whoever's the hottest going into any playoff or postseason is the most dangerous team.
Yeah,
you see it in baseball every year. Whoever's the hottest going into the MLB postseason is the most dangerous team.
Look at the Miami Heat. They made it to the finals.
Yeah.
Right? They were not. I didn't even know they were in the bubble until it was like midway through the playoffs. and then they were in the finals, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, they have a real chance at this one." Until LeBron came in and did LeBron things, but that was it's the same thing. It's what team is rolling. Look at the Titans last year. Who saw the Titans making it to the AFC Championship? Nobody. They had to play a bunch of teams that the Ravens were not a team people thought were beatable, and they absolutely demolished them. I forgot who else did they beat the Titans last. They won another one that was they beat the Patriots.
They beat the Patriots playing mind games. That's the game that Vrabel
Yeah.
Pulled some kind of a stunt to stop the clock that put Belichick through the roof.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He pulled the Belichick in that game.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did.
I can't see why Tom Brady can't throw 13 to 15 touchdowns in the next 4 games.
I think Harry nailed it right on the head. And we said it's the hottest whoever has going into the playoffs is always the most dangerous. And the Bucs have a light schedule here.
Thank you.
And we could easily roll into the playoffs with 4 straight wins.
A couple of wins gives the team an extraordinary amount of confidence, and it doesn't make a difference who the teams are playing. Let's get that really clear. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 11-0. They've had a mediocre type of schedule. They really haven't beaten anybody with over 7 wins. I mean, with a winning record, to say the least. They should have had other games that were losses. The Buccaneers have faced a lot of challenges this year, and you know what? It's about time they get a couple of easy games. They may develop a running game.
Right. Well, right. And this is what I think is a key for people to realize. Okay, now first of all, I spoke with somebody today who was saying Minnesota's won 4 games in a row. So I went back and I said, okay, who have they beaten? And I looked.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacksonville.
They almost got beaten by Jacksonville. They
Yes.
had to come back to this.
Dallas.
I would have
Hold on.
for Jacksonville to win that game.
Jacksonville, Dallas. Who the heck were the other teams? Now my mind's going blank.
The Bears.
The Bears. They beat them.
They beat the Bears?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Oh yeah, they did by 3 or something like that.
Remember when I told you the Bears were the worst 5-1 team I've ever seen? I'm still sticking by that.
You know what? I'm the one who also said that when they were 5-1.
It's showing now. I do not. That Bucs loss to the Bears still hurts me, and that was horrible. And that's the last game the Bears won. They've been winless in 6 weeks. It's just
not going to be a popular comment that I'm going to make about that game. You can't be one-sided when you're seeing that Chicago wanted that game more. You could forget about the bad call. Chicago had 2 holding penalties that were called on them that weren't holding in that game. And the difference maker in that entire game is when the safety put that hit on the wide receiver and forced that turnover. That was the difference.
Yeah.
And that should have woken up the Buccaneers in that game. Chicago earned that game.
Yeah, they also beat the Lions.
Yep.
Okay.
That was Patricia's last game, I think.
Yeah, they beat the Lions. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Jaguars.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, but hold on now. This is what's funny. They beat the Packers, but
That's
they
random.
lost to the Falcons.
That just tells you they got up for one game and burned out. That's
The thing is this: anybody can beat anybody on any stinking day. Okay,
Absolutely.
it can happen, but you can't. Look, man.
Perfect example. Look, the Raiders beat the Chiefs. This morning, the Jets woke up and were like, "Let's beat that team. Let's do that today," and they almost did.
And they really did until the last play, which is inexplicable.
They beat them, and then they were like, "All right, actually, we can't win this one. Just here." We're like, "We want you to remember that we won this game, though."
It's funny you say that because I was sitting there watching the game, and you're like one of the very few Jets fans I know. I'm sitting there, I'm like, does Jacob want to win this game? And then I see this touchdown, and I'm like, okay, that's how you tank. You show them you won the game, but you give up the 50-yarder.
Right.
No, but I'll tell you what, I was really glad that the Jets played like that today because I did pick them on the other show and on this show, and I had them in one of my plays.
Okay,
covering the spread.
I gotta do this, Harry.
What's that?
What about the Falcons and Saints?
You know what? That was a very competitive game. It looked like New Orleans was just really didn't even hit overdrive in that game, but Atlanta did have a chance at the end to cover the spread.
Yeah, like you said though, just a little bit ago, it seemed like New Orleans just whenever they needed to do something, they
He
did.
Julio Jones by about 8 inches. That was all there was to that. He was a hand away from catching that ball. And that would have changed the whole world.
And another example of teams waking up to play, the Broncos are down 2 points to the Chiefs with 3 to go in the third, and they're on the Chiefs' 10. So any given week.
Who?
Yeah,
caught-
guys. I
Did
mean,
anybody
and
catch the end of that Colts game, the Texans Colts game?
Yeah.
Okay,
did.
today I put in. I was like, I'm just gonna put in a bet today. I was gonna bet all underdogs. So I took the Lions. I took the Browns. I took the Jets to cover. I took there was another big underdog today. It wasn't the Bengals. It's completely, but it was another big one. The Jaguars. It was the Jaguars, and then I took the Texans, and the Texans was the one I was like, that one's gonna hit. Like, there's like
Right.
Phil Rivers was playing with a broken toe, and that was the one that didn't. And I was so close. All the other ones did.
Oh, how
But-
did you like
Right.
them brownies, man?
Yeah, the Browns. The
Jacob,
Browns.
Jacob,
they
you got to stay away from parlays, son. You got
I
to
know,
stay away from the parlays.
I know. They're
Great
so
wagers
tempting.
only.
They're so tempting. But
Yeah, because the return is so great on them. I mean, you wager
Right.
$10 and you name 5 teams, and you're going to cash for over a nickel. That's extraordinary money on a $10 wager.
right.
right.
And one point that I want to bring up, because this is something that I've talked to. I obviously probably know a lot more Jets fans than most people do, just because I'm in that community.
Sure.
But most Jets fans think that this right here is going to fix everything in New York. And
what is
I'm
that?
here. It says Trevor Lawrence.
Oh God.
And what I'm going to say is that it's not. Because
I hear you're going to get Nick Foles.
yeah, that's what I heard. I heard we're also hiring Doug Peterson after the Eagles fire him.
You guys didn't learn from way back when Testaverde was a lock, and he
Right.
didn't become a player until he left Tampa.
Yeah.
And then today, of all days, he comes back in the graces of history of the NFL as being the last time that Cleveland Browns started out the season, whatever their record is,
Right.
was
Yeah.
matched today by Vinny Testaverde 18 years ago.
Right.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to that point, like what needs to happen is you look at a situation like what's going on in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, where they drafted him first overall and did nothing else and expected him to just walk out there and start winning football games.
Right.
The Jets, what they need to do is after they draft Trevor Lawrence, because that is a lock. That shouldn't be what most people are focusing on. They need to build up this defense, especially at linebacker, because they're getting CJ Mosley back, and they need a good second linebacker. They need a veteran corner, and they need to pay Allen Robinson all the money in the world.
Right.
Because he is worth it, and he needs to, and hopefully he wants to play with a good quarterback. And this whole narrative of the Jets being this place where people go and die, Joe Douglas is going to change that. That's just after this year, that's what's going to happen, right? You need to focus on the coaching hire, focus on this offensive line. This interior offensive line needs to be just taken.
Yeah.
And just
We got a left tackle you can have.
right. Well, you have. I do not want him. I want
I'll
no.
drive him there.
Oh my god.
Hey Jacob, the best thing the Jets can do in the draft is to trade their #1 overall pick and build that team around Sam Darnold, because they will get the house for that first overall draft pick.
The only thing that I would say is I would do it with the Jaguars for that #2 pick is a flip, draft Justin Fields and get a year of first rounders or 2 years of first rounders for Trevor Lawrence, because I like Justin Fields not more than Trevor Lawrence, but I like him. But I don't want to trade. I don't want to keep Sam Darnold. Like, he's done. New York ruined him. He's going to be on his 3rd head coach, and I can't get on board with that. I think this franchise needs an overhaul. Joe Douglas wants a quarterback that he drafts. That's his guy, and Sam Darnold wasn't his guy. And it's just him. He's going to go along with Gase and Greg Williams, who I don't even want to get started on. Greg Williams going with a cover 0 with 10 seconds left, and the fastest receiver next to Tyreek Hill in the league on the outside with an undrafted free agent rookie. Guarding him one-on-one in press coverage.
Teresa and Matt, I'm gonna need to clear you guys out for just a second. I can't. We got the lobby's packed.
Okay.
I've got to bring a couple more in.
No worries. I wore my hat because I'm going to audition for that job.
There you go.
As soon as it opens.
There you go. Thanks, Teresa.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you
That's
later, Rick.
that's somebody who knows how to be a Buccaneers fan, who doesn't need Bucks Fan Academy. Matt,
I got those vibes from her immediately. I was like, she's definitely a Bucks fan. She's a great Bucks fan. I can tell you that.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys
Okay.
have
Hold
fun.
on.
I'll talk to
Now,
you
Mike
next time.
DeRoche just disappeared. I don't know what just happened. I was just bringing it. I was getting ready to bring Mike on, and then he disappeared. So let me bring the professor in here, Johnny Dean.
Oh, Johnny Dean.
Hey, man.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Welcome the professor to Buccaneer Fan Academy. Live.
You know, I was watching the stream a few minutes ago, and I wrote it in the comments, but I was laughing so hard I was crying, dude. Six screens up here, and there's 3 Super Bowls amongst the teams. I was like, why is anybody complaining about anything they're doing right now?
Thank
Nobody
you.
should be complaining about nothing.
Thank you. I agree.
And Matt, Jacob's team, they got to the playoffs with what was his name?
With Mark Sanchez. We did Mark Sanchez in 2009 and 2010. We both
Didn't you get there with Fitzpatrick?
No, we were 1 game away from the playoffs. 1 game
That
away from
was
the
it.
wild card. Week 17. That was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen as a Jets fan.
Ugh.
Was
What team
2015.
has Fitzpatrick not played on? I'm to the point now where I can't remember.
We've all had Fitzpatrick in here, which is fantastic.
Crazy. That's crazy.
He's got the sweetest job in football, man.
Oh, backup
I
quarterback.
felt
is
so bad
fantastic.
for him when they put Tua out there just because. That really upset me. The guy sells his heart out to every team that he's on. He's having a good year, and you treat him like somebody's old shoes, and just we got.
Well,
this
that's
look we
basically
want.
what he is somebody's old shoes, man.
He was winning.
you know they didn't draft Tua in the first round to go with Fitzpatrick all year. You know, just knew that, right?
Well, no, that you go with the hot hand, and he was hot.
That hot hand crap is old school, man. That's way old school. You go with the guy you're going to go with your future with. That's who you go with.
And I think
But they're fighting. But the Dolphins are fighting for a playoff spot. And yes, I
You
said
don't.
playoffs.
You can't. You got to make a decision, and you got to stick to it, and that's how you got to do it. Or you have too much disruption. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks.
Yeah. Now let me get to some of these comments here. Somebody talking about JJ Watt. Christopher Cole talking about JJ Watt coming to the Bucs next year. Who knows?
Why?
That's a long time away. Yeah, I agree. Mike DeRoche, 16-12 over the Chiefs. And Mike, I was pulling you on here and you left, brother. Teresa says that was fun, guys. Teresa, please come back anytime. Andrew Faubert, the long missing Andrew Faubert. No complaining when 7-5. Yeah, there's just no reason. I just don't see it. Mike says it perfectly. Lots of teams would kill to be 7-5, right, Jacob?
Oh my god!
I mean,
I would do literally. I don't know what I wouldn't do to be 7-5 right now.
Yeah, and basically in the playoffs, and you don't know what's going to happen from there. I mean, holy cow! But everybody's like, yeah, but they're underperforming. This is like when you're dating this beautiful woman.
Oh, there you go.
Right? You've got this beautiful woman, and she's smart, and she's a wonderful person, and she's rich, and everything's great. And you're like, yeah, man, but she's got a really ugly car. I mean, who freaking cares?
I don't think Jacob related to any of that.
I think Jacob did. He's 16, man.
I can drive soon. I can drive soon. Don't.
Hey, Matt, I gotta clear you out so we can bring Mike in.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night.
Okay.
I'll see
Hey,
you.
Matt.
See you,
All
Matt.
right, Mike.
Hey, boys.
Hey.
Hey, Jake.
What's up?
All right.
So
2
close.
Canadians today.
Pardon me?
We got 2 Canadians today. We got Andrew in the chat, and we got Mike on here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Blame Canada.
Mike,
No,
Mike,
listen.
Mike, eh?
Listen, Mike. What do you think? I mean, do you agree with me that something's freaking wrong? And Bucks fans need to learn. They need Fan Academy. They need to graduate from the Fan Academy. They need to pass those 10 rules. You know, man.
Are you a little angry today? You're on the sauce or what?
What's that?
You on the sauce tonight? You're a little angry.
No, but I am angry.
Holy.
No. That's passion,
Right.
not
Hey,
anger.
Harry, how about that Chiefs, the Titans game today? Cleveland game?
Yeah,
How many points did I say? 55?
I don't recall, to be honest with you. I can go back to the tape and listen. That was a really good call if you said 55.
So
Well, to me, I mean,
But
now,
nobody out there, including myself, after watching and reviewing tape, would ever have thought that Cleveland was going to jump on that big of a lead. Anybody?
No.
Nope.
There's
No.
a reason
Okay.
there's a reason they were underdogs. I mean, they were +4. There's a reason for that because no one expected them to do that. That was
Mike,
no one was saying.
right, Mike.
Jacob, you're starting to worry me.
Mike,
You're
hold
starting
on,
to
guys.
worry me,
I want to get this back. I want to bring this back home to you, Mike, because I haven't talked to you about this. All right. I want to know. I mean, okay, expectations are more for the Buccaneers, right?
yeah.
I mean, they've quote unquote underperformed, right?
Okay.
But are you having fun this year?
Yes.
Of course you are.
For the first time in about 18 years.
Right. And that's the awesome part. But if I read to you my DMs from fans, they never write to me unless they've got something bad to say.
No one's ever like, that was a great game from the Bucs today, Rick. No one. That's never.
No, I've never gotten a wow, man, that was exciting. How awesome was that? Nobody freaking does that.
Never.
Nobody does that.
I
But
love
instead,
DMs.
I get messages where it's just, I mean, it's and then when you say, dude, don't be so negative, they say, I've got the right to be negative. Well, of course you freaking do.
Oh my god, I gotta
Don't exercise that right, but you can.
People who come who DM me and are like, you said the Jets were gonna be 5-11. You're like, you said they were gonna. I'm like, okay. One, in what world was I supposed to be like the Jets 0-16 this year? As a Jets fan, how am I supposed to sit here in my seat and say that the Jets are gonna go 0-16 and be an embarrassment of a team this year and a franchise?
I did take the Jets under 4, get 4 wins for the year, by the way.
I think I had them going 5-11, 6-10 or something, and people were
No,
mad.
no,
about that.
I actually made a wager when I was up in Jersey, over at Mama Park up there. The Jets wouldn't win more than 4 games this year.
I would rather be 0-16 than 5-11. I do
Me
not.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
People are, oh my God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is something that I want to bring up. I saw a comment. So it says the Jets are tanking. They don't want to be 6-5. Do you know what I would do? Why would I want to be tanking? I don't want to tank. We are just so bad that at one point we're like, we might as well just lose out and get a good quarterback. Like that. We didn't start the season like, let's tank and get Trevor Lawrence next year. Trevor Lawrence wasn't even a thought in my mind coming into this year.
Right.
I was like, we're gonna have Darnold. We'll develop Darnold and he'll be fine. We saw progression, and now after 4 weeks into the season, we're like, all right, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback.
So you don't even root for the team to be competitive, even
No, I
not
do.
having
I
a
would
win?
love for them. I want them to
I
lose
could
every
do that.
single game by 1. I want them to lose every
You
single
want
game.
every
by
game
1.
to go just like today.
Exactly.
I could never do that.
My heart
I've
can't
been
do that.
peeking into the game thread for the Chiefs here lately in the last couple of minutes, and you should see them exploding about underperforming. The game is 16.
Yeah, but they just took the
right now.
lead. They just took the lead. That's good for me.
Yeah, but you should. We're talking about fans and fan reactions. It's always about the potential, but it's never about the gameplay. And both teams have potential. It don't matter who you're lining up against. They both come to play.
Right. Those are grown freaking men on the other side of the ball.
The top players in football.
Right.
Period. Even on the Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Sorry, Jacob. I had to take that shot, man.
Yeah, no, of course. And I'm used to it. People are reaching out to me. They're like, "Oh, I got a DM today that was like the Jets suck." I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Shocker.
No.
Yeah, like who's telling me that?
Right.
Oh my! I never knew that.
We're sitting here
Really?
at 0-12, and we're like, all right, well,
What do you play next?
we have the Seahawks next week.
Good
You'd
luck.
rather be
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Wait, oh my God, that would be the one game I want to win. Just beat Jamal. Oh God, I would love
That
to
would
just
be
beat up on Jamal.
hilarious.
And then we have we have a very, very easy schedule coming up. Oh my God, ready for this one? We have the Seahawks, we get the Rams, the Browns, and the Patriots.
Can I show you?
4-0.
Can I show you something here? Let me show you something. Teresa, who was on here a little bit ago. I have a fun year every year, win or lose. Just glad to be a fan of a team, a real passionate fan. People just need to know that this team will lose. Sometimes they will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, but you got to love them. We have the ship in the stadium, for crying out loud. You know, I mean,
Way better than Megatron's butthole.
way better than Megatron's butthole. Listen, that's Teresa. You're right, man. You're right. And it's like, why not just have fun with this? Why not have a good time? Or why are you watching football?
It is a game, right? It is something we're supposed to enjoy.
That's exactly. This is leisure time activity.
Yeah.
If you're miserable, stop it. You don't have to do this.
Jacob, you just mentioned the Jets played the Patriots, right? How about the Patriots today? I think remember we talked about last week that I said I don't think Anthony Lynn will get fired. I lied. He's definitely getting fired.
he's out. They already removed his key from the building.
How about Cam throwing for 69 yards and you scored 45 points? 9 completions, 65 yards, and you still scored 45 points.
That is the most Bill Belichick thing in the world, right? And I said it. I think I was on this. Someone said where I was watching game day. It was something, and someone said today Justin Herbert's going to see defenses that he's never seen before. He's going to see schemes. He's going to see things that he just hasn't seen against these other teams, and that is exactly what happened. I mean, Look at like it was just a massacre. It was a massacre. And if you think that this is acceptable at any level, if you're the Chargers, then I don't want to hear, it was a one-off game. You lost 45-0 to a team that's not going to make the playoffs this year.
It was close.
but they almost pulled it off at the end. But anyway.
I think Lynn lost the team there, man.
Johnny,
all those 1 and 3 point losses and stuff added up on
Johnny. I want you to talk about your take on. I don't know. Did you see the opening to this?
No, I didn't. I missed it.
Okay, it's basically it was me saying, guys, what the heck are you doing calling yourself Bucs fans? You need to learn the rules. And I gave 10 rules for being a Bucs fan. And I guess the thing is, what I want to know is your take on, you if you could say anything to the people just in general now, okay? This is not anybody in specific. All right? Generally, what you see on Facebook, I want you to tell what you generally see on Facebook. I want you, and you and I've actually never, I don't think, spoken about this. I want you to tell your Facebook feed what you think they need to hear right now.
Well, relax. It's a game, man. I end every one of my game threads with "great game. See you next week." That's it. We're having fun, hanging out, watching a game. Sure, we bitch and complain, but it don't have to carry on for weeks at a time.
Oh, I hate them. I hate that more than anything when people are like, remember in week 4 when we did this and this and this and that one play where someone didn't block right? We can't have that happen. Like, okay. That happened 11 weeks ago and or 9 weeks ago. I forgot how to do subtraction. And you're like teams develop over time. That's something that I don't think a lot of people realize.
Yeah,
I've tried to beat that into people's head, and I am guilty of that. I keep telling 3 years. It took 3 years for the Buccaneers originally to make a push for a championship game. Right? They got to the NFC title game. That's your standard, dude.
Yep.
If you start, and when Arians came in here, that's day one. Okay, it's not the last 5 years or 10 years. It's when you get a new coach. That's day one. Okay, you start then, and then you count from that day.
Right.
If you're lucky, you get a John Gruden's replacing Tony Dungy, and then you got a head start. But that's not how it was. You had Bruce Arians replacing Dirk Cotter.
Right. Now I want to give each of you the floor individually. Okay, Johnny, I'm going to give you one more crack at this. Okay, to talk to fans. All right, and this is how we're going to end the show. Mike, I'm going to bring you up first.
Oh no, don't do that.
Okay, I'll come to you in a second. All right, Jacob or Tyler, I'll start with you. How about that, Tyler? I want you to tell the Facebook news feed, talk to whomever you want when it comes to that, about, give that, what do they need to know? Impart your wisdom in Buccaneers Fan Academy.
Well, I don't think it's just Buccaneers Fan Academy either. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. Think about it from Jacob's sense. You're in a good position. You're 0-12, but for the franchise, you're still in the best position you could be for moving forward. Obviously, you want to be on the other. You much rather be 12-0, but for where you're looking for now, 0-12 is where you want to be. For the Bucs, we're 7-5 with a light schedule. We're moving in, and we have a really good chance of ending 11-5. That's all there is to it. Look at the positives. We can still be 11-5, and like I said, there's not one team out there in the NFC that wants to see the Buccaneers in the playoffs. It's still Tom Brady in the playoffs. It's still a team loaded with talent. It's still a team that we've seen when they played the Packers can perform with anybody and really blow anybody out. Now they've looked vulnerable as well. So yeah, there is things to worry about, but just be happy with where you're at. My example with that is Jacob gets on here and he joins the show excited that they lost another game. He's happy with where you're at. The Bucs are in a good spot that we haven't seen them be in multiple years, and we have as good of a chance to win a Super Bowl as anybody. As a fan, be passionate, love your team, but cheer for your team, but also, bring it with you every week that you want them to be in the best position they can be moving forward. And that's where we're at as Bucs fans. We are in the best position we've been in, and we're only getting better throughout this next 4 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tyler. Glad you came tonight.
I have a good one, fellas.
All right, you have a good one. Jacob.
Yes.
Okay, now you talk to Bucs fans here. All right. I want you to be a part of Buccaneer Fan Academy here.
Yes.
All right. And what you see on your news feed, and what what do you see and what do you think they need to hear?
Lighten up. Like, come on. Like, you're what are you, 7-5? You're winning games. You're gonna make the playoffs. Stop complaining about every single little thing. And this is not just to Bucs fans. This is to fans in general. Week 1 of a season. The Super Bowl is the goal every single year. Every year from week 1. Right? But before this year, I was like, obviously I want to go to the Super Bowl. That should be the standard for your team every single year. If you want anything else, you're settling. You are settling for your team, and that should not be what you want. Same thing at the quarterback position. I'm going to relate this back to the Jets quickly. If the reason I don't want Sam Darnold at quarterback anymore is not because I don't think that he can succeed with a new coach. It's because it feels like we're settling on a quarterback, and that's not what I want for this organization. I think Trevor Lawrence can take this team to new heights that we haven't seen in 10, 15 years. And I think, and I don't want to settle for the Jets anymore. And that's in general. You shouldn't want to settle for your team. You should want the best. Stop complaining about every single little thing, whether you're 0-16 or 16-0. Appreciate the game. And this is football. Things are going to happen. Like, you can't get on Twitter and complain about everything because realistically, it's not going to do anything. Just love your team. Be a fan. And that's really all I got to say about that one.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. Love having you on the show. Hope I see you in What's Cooking in the South this week.
Of course you will. Thank you, Rick.
All right, have a great one.
You too.
All right, Harry. Boy, you guys want to hang around here because there's a good moment coming up here. But Harry, I want you to you tell the Bucs fans right now for everybody here in Buccaneer Fan Academy. You tell them. Talk to the news feed. What do they need to hear?
I think everybody should go out and riot. Go absolutely crazy. I'm kidding. Relax. Be positive about your team. There are cities in this country that don't have a major football team. I'm sorry, a major market that doesn't even have a football team. I mean, think about this. Cities like New York, they have 2. And we're complaining this team is 7-5. Let's be real. It's okay to be passionate. Ignorance is a different story. Be happy when they win. Don't critique them when they win. You can always look for ways of getting better, was voicing an opinion in a very concise manner. Let me be really clear. They're 7-5. They're going to win their next 4 ball games. That's my opinion. They're going to have 11 wins this season. And when you have 4 straight wins, that means you have momentum. They're going to make a deep run into the playoffs. That's what I feel. But you know what? You have to support your team. Don't be a fair weather team.
Awesome. Thank you, Harry. You have a great night. Johnny, one more time. What do you got to say to them?
Kind of riding on Harry's shirt tails there. I was going to say, because take a look at St. Louis. They don't have anybody. They had, and they lost it because that's how it goes. You could be without a team. That's it, dude.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, bud.
Thank you. All right, guys. Tonight we have something special happening here. This is the way you close out Buccaneer Fan Academy. Let me tell you something, Peter. You and I've been dealing. I mentioned you earlier in the show about how you play the crickets. When the Buccaneers win, you hear nothing. That's what it's like when the Buccaneers win. But when the Buccaneers lose, oh my God, it's insane. And I've been very frustrated lately, not just with my news feed, Peter, but I've been frustrated with the DMs that I'm getting from fans. And I mean, what do you have to say to fans? Impart your wisdom. You tell the fans, you tell your news feed, get it off your chest. Welcome to Buccaneer Fan Academy. Tell them what you have to say.
I just say be consistent. Keep that same energy. If you're excited about them, that's cool. Call into the sports web when they win. Call into the sports web when they lose. Just be consistent, like we always talk about with referees and their calls. You're going to call it one way, call it the other. Yes, there were big-time expectations. And once again, let me put out the PSA. Most likely, a lot of that was my fault in sports broadcasters abroad, because there was major expectations with this team. There's still major expectations with this team. It's been somewhat disappointing, but again, keep it in perspective. They lose twice to the Saints. The Saints clinch a playoff spot today. They may be the best team in the NFC, not only the best team in the NFC, but also the best team in the NFL. You lose to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. You lose to the Rams, which are going to be in contention for that number 1 seed and one of the top defenses in the NFL. Consider this. We're not talking all about interceptions most of the time. We're talking about a team that's going to get better, you would think. And then on top of it, you have a schedule that is somewhat favorable, right? Even though the Vikings are coming in hot, they're still not a good team. They're not a complete team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have the Atlanta Falcons twice. And then, of course, you have the Detroit Lions. So definitely a favorable schedule coming up for the Bucs. They can still run the table. And at the end of the day, all you have to do is get in. So I'm tired of being negative. I'm going to be realistic. We talk about the positive and the negative. But once again, let's keep things in perspective. 2020 has been a crazy year. Let's make it a little bit crazier with the Bucs and their run in the playoffs for that Super Bowl. And I still say this team has an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl in their home stadium. They just have to clean up a couple things. So be consistent. That's all I have to say about that.
Hallelujah. You know, I want to hear from you. I want to hear the good stuff. I want to hear the bad stuff. And Peter, I don't know if you saw any of the 10 rules, but rule number 10, this is supposed to be fun.
It is. This is fun. This is what we do. We're psychiatrists. I could be your psychiatrist on the sports web. I could be your psycho on the sports web. But definitely tune in to all the shows here, especially this one from the cheap seats, Cooking in the South. Of course, Sports Talk.
And the sports web. I mean, seriously, Peter, your show is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. I mean, you're the flagship of this deal here at Bucks Report. And I mean, you're the you're the steady piece in this whole thing. And I mean, it's an honor having you on here. Let me tell you something. I think you and I can both say the same freaking thing. If you're gonna be a fan, be a fan.
Yes.
That's all that we're asking for. Be a fan. That means both ways, guys. If you call yourself, I'm going to go through the rules. If you call yourself a fan, root for the team more than you gripe about it.
And if you're going to gripe about it, be consistent. That's all I have to say. Be consistent.
Yeah. Number 2, free agents that leave are now the enemy.
Yes.
I don't need to explain that. It says it to it. It explains itself. Number 3, heckle or blame the refs at least once per game. It's your job. It's your duty. Number 4, stop thinking changing coaches is the answer. Number 5, wins and losses are the actual benchmark. Your expectations are not the benchmark. This team, whether it's good or bad, is not, it is not, the benchmark is not whether or not you expected them to do better or not. It's okay to be happy.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Put me on screen right now. Look, go ahead.
I'm working on it. I'm working. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a lot better than this or this. I don't want to look like that, okay? I've got enough. Look, my dad, when he was alive, he used to say I look like a Klingon when I would get upset. So I can look like that. Don't be a Klingon, okay? Don't have all these wrinkles on the top of your head. It's good to be happy. We have things to be happy about. Thanksgiving is over. Christmas is almost here. And most likely the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be in the playoffs in 2020. And that's crazy to say because we didn't even think there was going to be a season this year.
Right. But then the people are unhappy about it. So yes, number 6, it's okay to be happy. And number 7, no, really, it's okay to be happy.
Yes.
Number 8, no amount of evidence will convince an idiot. Let the negative folks be miserable. You're not going to change their minds.
Yes.
Number 9, embrace the positive, but be realistic.
True. It's tough for us sometimes to be realistic. I'm guilty of it. And I will tell you this about the idiot fans. I encounter them all the time, and it's somewhat of a challenge, but it can also be very tiring because you have your fans out there that will always think negative or always miserable. So all I can say is if they're a troll, they're always a prop here on the Sports Web. Welcome on the Sports Web. Trolls underneath the bridge. I love them.
Yep.
I love them.
Yeah, and this is going to be fun. Okay, number 10 was this is supposed to be fun, but you all ready for this? Guys, I'm having a very good night here in Buccaneer Fan Academy because now look at I have the heavy hitters all at one time. This is as good as it gets right now, folks. This is as good as it gets. Dude, what you got to add?
Well, I was listening to the show and I heard someone bring up the word standards, and I went, I got to come fix that. We can't have standards here. What are you talking about? So, hey, did you read number 10 yet?
I will do it right now.
Read number 10 because I got number 11 for you.
Okay, number 10. This is supposed to be fun. Number 11.
Nobody gives a damn about your fantasy team.
Whoa. Wait a minute. We don't care about the fantasy team. I mean, we do, but then again, if you're holding that, if that's your whole premise of your argument, because Mike Evans is not going to reach that 1,000-yard plateau in receiving, and you're upset at Mike Evans for that, even if they win, then yeah, nobody gives a damn about your fantasy team. But we kind of give a care about your fantasy team, sort of.
Well, I mean, do we want to see Mike Evans hit that 1,000-yard mark and pass Randy Moss? Of course, everybody would like to see that. Why not? History.
Sure.
Watching history is great, but I really feel like additional games, playoffs. Playoffs.
Did you say playoffs? Let me go ahead.
Playoffs.
Playoffs? 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 You kidding
We
me?
didn't do.
Playoffs?
We haven't done diddly poo. Diddly poo. So I think playoffs are what's the priority. And to be honest with you, Bucs fans, yes, he's had 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Okay, so in those 7 years, how many times has he been in the playoffs?
None.
Okay, so do you think Mike Evans would rather have one playoff with 7 consecutive 1,000-yard season or 1,000-yard seasons broke and a playoff game, or let's force the ball to Mike Evans and not make the playoff again and do what we did last year and go, hey, we got a bunch of stats,
right?
And that's why I say stats. Yeah, stats are awesome, but the final score, the win-loss column, playoffs, that's what's important. So, your fantasy team, it's a fantasy team. So there you go. Just kind of like this is this show right now tonight with what we're doing is carrying the fantasy standards. Hey, Rick, I feel like back there I see somebody sitting behind you in the cheap seats that has something to say. Oh, wait, that's Peter Blake. Peter Blake, what are you doing on air on a Sunday night? Bro, it's your day off.
I know, but I had to come on, and I definitely had to tell Rick he's done a great job tonight with this fan academy. I've been watching most of it. I feel bad about with Jacob Schar now, what he's had to go through.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, it could be worse. You could be a Jets fan, and then on top of it, coming into this year, you could be a Browns fan. And oh, by the way, look at what the Browns are doing right now. They're the story of the NFL. They have to be at 9-3. So things may seem a lot worse than it really is. So, don't take for granted what you have. And I'm not trying to be cliche here, but
that's not cliche, brother. That's that.
It could always be worse. You could be a Jets fan or you could be a Jaguars fan.
Yep.
So right now, Bucks are in prime position. They control their own destiny, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get off here. Rick, great job. Bucks report out there. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, where we do 3 things. And it's kind of like Santa checking his list once or twice. So write down these 3 things on your list. I don't care if you're naughty or nice. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Have a great night.
Good night, Peter. All right.
It still startles me every time he does that because he's got like normal Peter, which is already Mach 1, right? And then excited Peter, which we should never say again on this show, which is like Mach 2 or 3, right? And then every once in a while, like that one right there, you get light speed where it's just like, hey, Chewy, hit it. And
ludicrous speed. Ludicrous speed.
Gosh. Hey, where did everybody go? There was like 18 people on here.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a bunch.
Did you piss them all off, man?
No, I was clearing. I was ending the show.
Why?
Because I got to go to sleep at some point. I have to work tomorrow. So I want you right now, dude. I want you to address all of your Facebook feed. Throw it out there. I want you to tell everybody what they need to hear. Give them words of wisdom from Buccaneer Fan Academy.
Well, if you're coming here for wisdom, I mean, all I can really say to people is, come on, man. Last year, we went and looked back, and on the website and on the live shows this week of the season last year, not only were we, but a majority of the outlets, as far as Buccaneer content, had an eye forward at the playoffs. No, that's wrong. Last year, it was the draft. Okay, so going into this game last year, the Buccaneers fan base was rumbling about who are we going to draft, where are they going to pick, what's going on in free agency, what's going on with Jameis Winston, quarterback, blah, blah, blah. The season was over. They were playing out the string. Now, all of us who have followed the Buccaneers in whatever level of passion or fanaticism, if that's a word, Rick.
It is.
Now that we are here, we fast forward and we realize each and every one of you are going to be able to go to your Christmas break with your families or however you're doing it this year. And it'll be Christmas Day and you'll wake up and the Buccaneers team is still relevant. They're in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
And they're legitimately a top 5 team, top 6 team in their conference, which I don't know if you guys understand this. It's been what, 2007 since they were close to that.
Yeah, it's been almost 15 years. I know that.
Okay.
So,
And not to pick on the guy because we love him, but so Jacob Charnow was 3. Okay. Facebook, what you all are on, some of you, hello, shout out to the Twitter, the Twitch, and the YouTube peeps, didn't exist.
yeah.
Okay. The internet was, let's just say,
It was in its teen years.
at the time it was cool. I believe MySpace might have been a thing at that point. I mean, Facebook, I believe, did start about a year or so later.
Yeah, it was that was MySpace.
And about 2010, I think Facebook really took off. But the point being is, this is all new for a lot of people, and for the ones that are Bucks fans that this is not new for, it's been over a decade. It was 3 presidents ago, bruh. All right, think about that. 3 presidents ago. All right, it was 13 years ago. LeBron James was a Cavalier, right? I think so. Wasn't Peyton Manning on his way to another Super Bowl?
Was it really 13 years ago that they were in the playoffs?
2007, wasn't it?
Okay.
I'm not sure. You'd have to look it up. I can't, because if I touch something,
I'm thinking it's 2005. I was thinking
maybe it is. That's even worse then.
Right.
Okay. Let's say nearly a decade and a half. Boom.
Right.
Now I'm in the gray area.
Right.
All of it. So technically, this could be when Jacob Charnow was 1 and still, maybe quite possibly pooping himself. But anyway, we'll tie that into Megatron later. It's been over a decade, well into the second decade. It's been the entire world has changed exponentially. Football, the rules itself, has changed exponentially.
Yep.
There have been players have been drafted and left the league in that time. Okay? Many
players.
Coaches like John Gruden have retired and gone on to have arguably a very successful, to not have great NFL broadcasting career, and now are back coaching. So, all right, I'll put it this way. That's 2 uniforms ago, bro. For the Bucs.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
In fact, those times were so good for the Bucks. They said, "Hey, you see these alarm clock things we did? That we were cutting edge. We were going to be the next thing. Nah, we're going to redesign them and go kind of pretty much basically back to what they were." And that's where we're at. You got a great quarterback. You got phenomenal weapons. You've got a solid defense. I'm not going to call them a great defense. I'm going to call them a top 10, 15, 10, 11, 12, just to be fair. Opinion. Don't look up stats. It's an opinion, people. The coaching staff. But that said, fans, let's talk about the stuff between Brady and the play calling and what's going on there. I'm cool with that. Let's talk about, well, should Bruce Arians have made that call or called this timeout or clock management at the end of the game? Should we have kicked a field goal or gone for it on 4th down? All that stuff. Why didn't Brady see that guy wide open? Sure, we're all going to talk about that. But we've got people out here going in on people's families and heritage and dude, come on. It's football.
Can you tell that story at all?
I don't think we should. I think here's the reason. Because I feel like it would almost in some people's minds be taken as us talking about it as promotion in some sick way.
Guys, let's just say this. There are fans, recognizable longtime Buccaneers fans, who have gotten into, we'll just say, very ugly discussions on Facebook with family members of players. There's no reason.
And I get it. And to be honest with you, Bucks Report has had Buccaneer player family member contact us because they didn't like something that we might have said or written about or talked about. I get it. When that occurs, you step back and look at it and you reevaluate. You do what you got to do to be a good person. That said, we don't all want to be hugging trees and all that. I mean, we do have Ray Kennedy here for that if we need that stuff. And that's why we love Ray because, well, anyway, that's Ray. But let's show, it's been a while with this kind of success. So I know it's cliche to say act like you've been there before, but a lot of you haven't.
Right.
So what we're trying to say is, hey, being a dick to be a dick is still not cool, regardless of what you see everybody else doing. Do we like to take shots and troll people? And do people like to take shots and troll us? Absolutely. And that's great. That's back and forth. But we got people going after people's, like, it's escalating to the point where it's almost embarrassing, I think is a word to go with.
Yeah.
So everybody, you're 7-5. You're number 6 seed in the NFC as of tonight. Okay, y'all geeks can go look and see who that means if the playoffs ended right now. Who would we play? And we can talk about that. Do we care about you being upset or pissed off about the team or the coaches? No, bring it. Do we care about you being a little over the top? Absolutely not. But do we care about you having your opinion and the right to express it? Yes, you can have your opinion and the right to express it. But what comes with that is other people might have an opinion that differs off of your opinion, and they might want to say it back to you. So yes, we can all say what we want to say in our opinions, but realize while opinions are allowed, there's consequences, whether that be somebody coming back at you or people laughing at you or however it goes, or maybe your opinion sways the discussion. That's a consequence too.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking for. So kind of like Mr. Blake was saying, just the nonsense is good to an extent, but you all got to learn where there's a line. And an emotional reacting is fine because it's an emotional game. But being a fan is awesome. Being a fanatic is what it is. But if you're a fanatic, like this is the only thing that you care about in life, I get that. I don't understand it, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't say I get it. I don't understand it, but whatever, that's you. What I will say is, don't be fanatical. All right. There is nobody's ass worth kicking over a football opinion, bro. Okay. There is nobody's educational level or mental aptitude that should be attacked because of a football opinion. Now, that said, if you guys and people would figure out how to go back and forth without taking it to like, it's like we can do DEFCON 2, but people go straight to DEFCON 4 and like want to press the button and then get mad if you don't agree. That's the problem. So just go back and forth. And at the end of the day, go, oh, I don't agree with you. Should we get pizza or should we order wings? That's where this should go. Because for the first time in like a decade and a half, as we said, you're a playoff contender.
Yeah.
Act like one.
Exactly. And it's okay to be happy. It really is. I mean, no, it's not perfect. Things aren't perfect. But let me tell you something. When all you do is when you talk negative, even if you say you don't, look at what you've said. If all you're doing is talking negative, is it fun to be around?
It seems like a weird way to enjoy something. But
right.
The other side of that is, all right, maybe it's this. And I might be using the word wrong. So, Rick, you've got a great education in your head there, buddy. But I feel like maybe there's just some that are masochist.
Yeah.
That just, I love the team, but to show my love, I must suffer. So they walk around miserable. Like, dude, yes, the Buccaneers have struggled against some decent teams and some playoff teams. Yeah, they've done very well against teams that don't have great records, but that's what they're supposed to do. They also blew out the Packers, man, and the Packers are no joke.
Yeah.
They also, again, people want to make light of this. The new quarterback, however great he is, he still has no training camp, minicamp, OTAs, or preseason. He's still trying to fit or figure out where his game blends or fits with Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich's philosophy. And they're all trying to figure that out. And all these weapons the Bucks have, which they have a Megatron load of, if you think about it, I think there's been 3, maybe 4 games that Godwin, Evans, Gronkowski, and Howard, who are arguably the top 4 receivers on the team, at that point realize Antonio Brown might make an argument now, but whatever. But my point is, since the beginning of the season, those 4 I think have only played in 3 games together, so it's kind of hard to get chemistry. Chemistry isn't just between the quarterback and the receiver. It's between the receivers and the tight ends who are running the route when they're in space together. It's all of that. So they haven't had that. And even when the little BS mini camp they had to start the season, it wasn't like the other mini camps. It wasn't the full contacts. We didn't get to do the stuff that you do, the basics. People like Donovan Smith didn't get really tested before he went live in the game. Okay. And if you think about it, people, and trust me, the dude has filled many cups of adult beverage to dog Donovan Smith on these shows. But Donovan Smith has been slowly, but progressively been getting better this season in both facets, run and pass blocking. And if you all recall, it doesn't seem like we hear his name quite as often from the referees. So maybe they're coming together. I don't know. But give them a chance. And here's the beauty. We're kind of like, this is what's weird. This time last year, we're like, a couple plays here or there, and this record could be flipped the other way, right? So they're not far away. They're not far away. And that was when the team was 2 games below 500. Now, fast forward to this year, they're 2 games above 500. And we literally feel like we're having the same discussion. Well, they could get better. Yeah, they have, and they are. Now, the last 2 games, those are top 5 teams in their conference. Those are perennial playoff teams. Those are, dude, I think the stat is something like the Kansas City Chiefs are like 16-1 or 15-1 in their last 16 games or something crazy, or whatever the stat is. It's ridiculous. Maybe it's 2. I can't recall. But the point being is the Chiefs have been playing dominant for a minute. Who did they lose to before? The Rams. The Rams, the Rams are better
They
than
lost to the Raiders.
Right. Well, but they who the Rams beat that we know?
Well, no, I hear you. But the Chiefs lost to the Raiders.
They did. I chalk that up to division. Really, I do.
Yeah, but I guess, I'm just saying, come on.
Losses are going to happen. This team has got 4 games. I honestly think they go 3-1 to finish the season.
That's what I think.
And I only say this because if you look back, they always have to struggle a game against the Falcons for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's the curse of Matt Ryan and Raheem Morris voodoo doll or some crap. I don't know. Rich McKay. It's probably the curse of Rich McKay. Relax, enjoy the ride. When they do something stupid and trust me, watch the Sports Web. Watch Blake Anthony's Sports Talk 49. Even watch Ray Kennedy. Watch Gene from Buck What You Heard. When bad things happen, we're obviously going to talk about it. We're going to get mad about it.
You heard me talking about the lack of a running game. You've heard that. You've heard me talk about the slow starts. I've done that. That's all. That's realistic.
Right. But realize the people you argue with and associate with on social media, when you're arguing with them about football, you do realize they're not the ones and you're not the ones playing the game, right? Okay. But don't take it to that level. Like, okay, in other words, some of you might really think Chevy automobiles are awesome. The other ones of you might think they're not. But yet here you all are in the chat watching the same show about the same team. So see, you can disagree about stuff and still get along. See how that works? It's the same way with everything else. So we're not saying be pie in the sky. We're not saying don't debate, go back and forth. We're not even saying don't go at it hammer and tong. You've heard me on here with Johnny Dean. You've heard Johnny Dean with Peter. You've heard Peter with everybody and their brother. Okay. But you take it to that point and you guys got to check yourself when you're going in on somebody personally, bro. It's not cool. Anyway, I feel 10-6 now. We're literally at the point now where we can pretty much start talking about the Viking game legit, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Bucks fans, guess what you guys got coming? Guess what you're going to see this week? That one of those players, one of those polarizing players in the Buccaneer fan base is going to play your Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week, where a good portion of the fan base is going to be like, see, we should have drafted him. And the other portion is going to be like, no, we shouldn't have. And here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Dalvin Cook is coming to town.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, man, I don't want to hear Dalvin Cook talk all week. Well, you're going to hear some, I'm sure. But guess what else? Guess who else is coming to town? You like that?
You like that?
You like that? Kirk does weird things with his cousins is coming to town. The Minnesota Vikings. Now, how'd they do today, Rick? Do you know?
Yeah, they won.
Okay, so they're still in playoff contention,
They
right?
barely beat the Jaguars. Not really. I mean, yes, technically, I think so. Yes.
Mathematically?
Yes. I think they're sniffing the bottom of it.
All right, dude, that was weird. Sniffing the bottom. Scraping the bottom, maybe. Okay.
So walked into that.
Bro. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, let me have another drink here. Can you hear my drink?
Yep.
Okay. The Vikings game, I think it's going to be closer than people think. And that's the thing. Optimism's great. Everybody's like, we should roll over the Vikings. Yeah, on paper you should, but guess what? Paper doesn't roll, bro. Okay? It just lays there because it's not the game.
I gotta tell you, I have not picked any of the games to be blowouts, and I think this game's gonna be like 12-15.
The other side of me thinks Tom Brady's super mad, but I thought that last week too. So here's the thing. Let's really prognosticate. You ready to get like really prognostication in here?
Prognostical? I don't know.
Prognostical?
Prognostical.
That sounds like some kind of thing you go to the doctor and have done to your nose. But
or it sounds like, when you don't really believe in.
We haven't seen the team
football.
practice all last week, so we don't really have major injury reports. We don't know anything other than what has already gone on with injuries. So I feel like the Buccaneers are going to have a relatively full roster at this point. They're not going to be missing any major players there. With that said, is this the week that Antonio Brown breaks out for the Buccaneers? Is this a week where we see AB?
That definitely could be.
And for the love of everything that's holy in football, for the love of Vince Lombardi,
yes,
for the love of Hank Stram,
yes.
Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, for the love of everything that is sanctity of football. Do you even know what I'm going to say, bro?
Yes, I do.
I bet you don't.
I think I do.
Oh, I was going to say, run.
Yes.
The football.
Yes.
Okay. There was a gentleman on this show a couple minutes ago who pointed out when he gets mad, his face crunches together and gets lines all over it. That same man has also referred to the problem with the Buccaneers and a lot of us at Bucs Report, Blake and everybody, on down the line, that you got to run the football, man, or you at least got to make them think you're going to. And here's the problem. You have the victim of volume in Ronald Jones, who, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't checked the stats, but I believe, if my incoherent memory serves me well, is Ronald Jones not averaging 5 yards a carry this
Yeah,
season?
something like the 4 something. Yeah.
Okay, so check this out, Bucks fans. It's kind of like science. We call it math. All right?
It's kind of like
If Ronald Jones averages 5 yards a carry and you get 3 downs to get 10 yards, give me a minute. Okay. 5 yards on first down, 5 yards on. Okay, that's 15. So obviously he's not going to get 5 yards every time he touches the ball, but that's on average. But my point is, you can't get the benefit, the full benefit of that 5. I think it's actually 5.1 yards a carry that Ronald Jones gives you, or any running back with their good yard per carry average gives you, if you don't give him the rock in which to do so. You can't say, oh, you average 5 yards a carry. Here's your 1 carry. Get me 5 yards. It doesn't work that way. Okay? You have to look at it in volume. And here's the thing with Tom Brady. And you know what? My here's the thing is almost getting to be like your boys, you know. But anyway, here's the thing. Tom Brady.
I never got him on the air tonight. He kept trying.
Well, you know, he was on Buck, he was on Buck What You Heard's podcast on YouTube earlier today.
Was he? You know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you? Well, if you didn't get a chance, go back and watch it. You know, but you've got Tom Brady, who with play action and the size of wide receivers and tight ends this team have, could do so much damage with short to intermediate passes. Okay, Tom Brady grew up with his football hero being who? Do you know that?
I have no idea.
Joe Montana. Tom Brady's from the Bay Area.
Okay.
Joe Montana, coincidentally, ran an offense called the West Coast offense, ladies and gentlemen. And that offense was basically dink and dunk it down the field and run the ball, do play action, and let's matriculate the ball down the field. Okay? Leo word. And I think Joe Montana and the 49ers did pretty good with that. It still works to this day because that's basic West Coast football. So if Tom Brady is really good at short to intermediate passes and you have a running back that can get you around 5 yards a carry, why are you throwing it 45 yards downfield? 3 out of, I think they're going deep. It's like 3 out of 18 plays, somewhere in that ballpark on percentage. So I understand the no risk and no biscuit, but here's how that worked. It's not like Joe Montana never went deep. He had Jerry Rice.
Right.
He had Taylor. Okay. He had a great big tight end. Sound familiar? But the home run ball was exactly that. It was the home run ball. It was, an entire quarter of driving the ball down the defense's throat, dinking and dunking and pounding the rock. And then, boom, you pull the top off one time because you brought them all up to the line. You got all their men in the box because you're doing all these short plays. The long ball used to be the haymaker, the knockout blow, the finisher. Now it's like it's part of the cycle, the rotation of plays. And I get it. If the shot's there, take it. But you're just taking the shot to take the shot.
Right.
And I'll be honest, in a game situation where the game's on the line, yeah, throw that ball because we got the guys who are big enough to do that, to go up and get that ball. But in other words, dude, if you can move the ball down the field and get points every possession, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And
you have the ability to do that if all of the people involved in the play calling will get their heads out their ass and their egos out from Front Street, put it in their pocket, and just run the plays that's going to get you guys the ball, eat the clock, keep the defense fresh. Let's go win a championship. That's
there you go. Awesome. Thank you, dude.
Hey, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And for everybody who's not in the lobby, get in the lobby. For those of you who are in the lobby, I can't see you. I tried to see them, Rick, but I can't see them. But I'll say this. Merry New Year.
Merry New Year. All right, let me add this one more person here, and then we're going to close this out here. Andrew, North Sports Faubert, the long-lost Andrew Faubert, making an appearance. How you doing, brother?
My friend, it is very good to see you. It's very good to hear your voice. I've been in a long hibernation here in winter in Canada.
Yeah. Well, you came back out for tonight. Did you come back out because you've got something you want to say to Bucks fans?
Oh, I've come back, my friend. Internet's been down here for quite a while.
Okay. Well, I want you
got a
to
lot
tell
of
Bucks
snow,
fans
but-
what they need to hear. Tell
Bucks
the Buccaneers fans on your news feed what they need to hear.
Buck fans, are we not 7-5 for the first time since 2010 at week 12? And technically, we will have 7 wins by week 13, which is still having 7 wins by week 13 for the first time since 2010. You can use the fact that we only went 10-6 and missed the playoffs. This is an expanded playoffs format. We get 10-6, we are more than likely in, but we have to win these key games. We can't necessarily lose to the Vikings and hope that we're going to beat the Lions and the Falcons twice. The Falcons are our conference. Mr. Rick here, you know very well, we're not just going to roll over the Falcons twice.
No.
You have stated this many of times, and I have laughed a couple of times, but when I came around and you really look at it, it is true. You do not take the Falcons out of the race. I mean,
Right.
They're out of this race technically, but you really think they're going to just let the Buccaneers get into the
Right.
playoffs through them? It's not going
Right.
to happen.
Right. No. And that's a fact. And you never know what to expect from them. They can beat anybody or lose to anybody on any given Sunday. So
Any given Sunday. This
Yeah.
is the Falcons. They're our conference rivals. It's still Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. They have still put 200 yards up on us. I am obviously not hoping for that and not expecting that. It's already happened once to us this year. We're not
Yep.
going to let it happen again.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
Yeah,
I'll be
I know
seeing
you waited a
again
long
soon.
time. Sorry about that. I know you were in there for a very long time. I appreciate
My-
it.
Dude,
Hopefully you'll be around
anytime.
more often now.
I will be around a lot more often, buddy. I will be
Awesome.
joining you. I'll join everybody. I'll be around whenever you need me, buddy.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll be back with What's Cooking in the South on Tuesday night.
And I will be seeing you then.
All right. Have a great night.
You as well.
All right, guys. So now I'm going to close this out the way it should be closed out. This is how you close out the Buccaneer Fan Academy. Okay? 2020 edition. Guys, have fun with this. This is a good year. It's a fun year. This is the chance to celebrate and have fun and say woohoo and yell and cheer and brag. This is that time. This is when you can brag and not complain. If it's not now, when? When? So have fun with it. Enjoy this. Everything's good right now. Everything's good. They struggled. They had a couple bad games. It's all good. It's all good. You're going to see a little run here, I think. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And then we'll deal with it at that point. We'll be disappointed if they lose. Life will go on. And guess what, guys? I'm still going to be a frickin' Bucks fan. I'm still going to cheer. I'm still going to say, woohoo. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to all of that. So just remember this as you go. Remember one rule. If you can remember out of all of them, this is supposed to be fun, guys. This is supposed to be fun. So have fun. Have fun. When you're constantly complaining online, have fun. It's okay to complain. It's okay to have problems with what's happening to this team. It's okay to feel like this team is not meeting your expectations. All of that is okay. Just know this. Know this. Your team is going to the playoffs. You have the best quarterback in history. That quarterback is having the best year statistically in team history. You're going to the playoffs for the first time in like 15 years. This is the time to be happy. So take a minute, cheer, and enjoy this thing, baby. Enjoy it. Go Bucks, baby. Go Bucks.
As the Buccaneers are being introduced